Chapter 7, Ending Crime and Restoring Law and Order. Joe Biden's war on the police and his cuddling of violent criminals have turned our once great cities into cesspools of bloodshed and crime. Crime is way up like you wouldn't believe. Gangs are shooting each other in the streets, shooting each other from their cars, doing drive-by shootings. Robberies are way up, too. They just come in and take whatever they want, and nobody does anything to stop them. There are so many stores closing. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. It's totally out of control. Just the other day, I saw a hooded black man walking a German Shepherd on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight. It's unbelievable. But when I'm president again, I will make sure that all stops. Believe me, it will all stop, and it will stop fast. We are going to take the streets back from all the gangsters and the criminals and the hobos and the wacko jackos. I will send in the National Guard if I have to. In fact, I will create a whole new guard, the Trump Guard, an elite force of hardcore Trump loyalists. They will wear awesome black uniforms and red armbands with a white circle and a big black T printed in the middle of the circle, and they will all swear absolute total loyalty to me personally. Wow, I just came up with that. The Trump Guard will be responsible for my personal protection and for state security like the Secret Service, only bigger and better, much bigger and much better. They will also keep the order and hunt down enemies of the state, like radical and other leftists and activists and Islamists and illegals. It will be a hugely powerful domestic army that will answer only to me. I have to tell you, this is one of the best, amazing ideas I've ever had, and I've had a lot of best, amazing ideas. Why didn't I come with this before? This is exactly the kind of organization we need to get rid of all the vermin in our country. Hardcore justice reform. The minute I'm back in the White House, I will sign a super hardcore justice reform decree. During Baloney Joe's disastrous years as president with a small p, a tiny p, has constantly sided with the criminals. He opened the borders for the cartels so that drugs could pour into our country like never before. He let gangs and junkies take over our cities, and he let his political friends appoint radical Marxist prosecutors who give criminals free copies of Das Kapital instead of sending them to jail where they belong. But my super hardcore justice reform decree will put an immediate end to that, you'll see. Drug dealers, murderers, and human traffickers will automatically get the death penalty. That's right, we're going to bring back the death penalty big time, people, big time, big time. It's going to happen, believe me. And we're no longer going to have trials that last for decades with appeal after appeal. That's over. Criminals will get one trial and that's it. It will be fair, but it will be fast, and very cheap. Honestly, most trials could be done in a day, and if they're found guilty, they're going to go way of the dodo quick and without delay. Without delay, folks, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. We're also going to stop messing around with all those fancy schmancy execution methods that are supposed to kill these animals in a cuddly, cuddly way. That's out, folks. We're going back to the electric chair and good old-fashioned hangings and the firing squad. And maybe the guillotine, because that's pretty cool, right? They just chop the head off. It's very fast. They say it's very clean and painless, but that sometimes the heads keep blinking. Blink, blink, blink. Wouldn't that be something to see? That's why we're going to televise all the executions. We're going to have Friday night executions instead of Friday night lights, chopping off heads with the guillotine, frying drug dealers with Old Sparky, and hanging murderers like we used to. We're also going to have amateur firing squads with big prizes for the best shooters and Super Bowl halftime show executions and death by gladiator executions with swords and shields and spears, just like the Romans used to do. It's going to be great TV, trust me, tremendous TV, and all the drug pushers and murderers will be terrified when they see what's going to happen to them if they don't stop drug pushing and murdering. We're going to win the war on drugs and murdering so fast you won't believe it, trust me. Thieves and robbers won't get off so easily anymore either. They will get a minimum of 10 years hard labor. I don't care if they stole a chocolate bar or a tube of toothpaste or a nudie magazine. Do they still have those? The nudie magazines? Probably not, because with the internet, you don't need them anymore. I used to buy them all the time for the articles, of course, wink, wink. But now I just go on the internet and it's great. They just let you see the pussy for free. What else? Oh, yes, gang members, their days are number 2. Believe me, they will automatically get life without parole. And not in some cushy prison with TV and a library and things like that, but a real prison like the ones they have in Mexico. illegal possession of a firearm, 10 years hard labor, illegal possession of a German Shepherd, 5 years hard labor, illegal possession of a great-ass mandatory lap dance for the president. Don't worry, I'm only kidding. Or am I? Ask Melania. The junkies will go into mandatory rehab, and not in five-star clinics with hot nurses and swimming with the dolphins and papier-mâché hat-making classes. There'll be none of that. It will be cold turkey, Nurse Ratched rehab without the fun hookers. Well, maybe a few hookers. But we'll turn those loser junkies into something useful fast enough, like coal miners or asbestos removers or killer psychopaths for our elitist armed forces. It's going to happen, believe me. I've got it all figured out. Bringing back the blue. On day one, I will also greenlight a massive investment in the hiring, retention, and training of police officers. We are going to hire so many beautiful, well-trained, loyal police officers. You're not going to believe it. There will be a police officer on the corner of every street in America, and they will go in guns blazing the moment they see anything suspicious. There will be only one police department, the Trump Police Department, the TPD, and all police officers will swear personal allegiance directly to me. I will give the police wide authority to do their jobs again. No longer will our boys in blue be prosecuted for every accidental little shooting or lethal chokehold. The police are there to protect us, not violent criminals. I will also bring back proven common sense policing measures like shoot first, ask questions later, the knee on the neck, and of course stop and frisk. It's very simple. You stop the African American and you frisk him. I will order the police to crack down on crime like never before. Gangsters, drug dealers, human traffickers, illegal aliens, and activists will be arrested on sight and either jailed or deported, or both. I will also order the police to round up all the hobos, vagrants, junkies, and mentally ill. We can no longer allow these losers to roam our streets like unwashed zombies playing extras in a low-budget Netflix show. The cities are meant for clean, wholesome, hardworking citizens, not for drugged-out losers who stink to high heaven. More on what we'll do with these useless losers further in the book, Juvie Justice. We're also going to come down hard on juvenile offenders. We've got drug dealers, carjackers, and armed robbers now that are 13, 14, 15 years old. I've actually seen it happen. I mean, I've sort of witnessed it on TV, a hooded kid running out of a store with a big garbage bag. Why don't these young criminals just ask their fathers for money if they want new sneakers? I'll tell you why. Because the radical left has completely taken over school discipline, okay? Kids used to be suspended or expelled when they beat up another kid or stole their lunch money unless their father paid the school a lot of money. That's how these young animals learn to behave themselves. But these days, liberal teachers just ask them to sit in a so-called restorative justice circle and talk about their feelings. That's why these kids have no respect for authority. They're out of control. They're out on the streets and behave like wild animals, like they can do whatever they want. But I will stop that. I will teach these minorities respect for the law. We're going to try them like adults and lock them up until we've broken them and molded them into loyal soldiers ready to do their duty for true America. Fighting radical leftist terrorism. For too long, law enforcement agencies have focused on so-called right-wing domestic terrorism, which has often led to prosecuting totally innocent people burning crosses on their lawn as part of local festivities, or people marching and chanting in the streets with tiki torches. They're so unfair. Meanwhile, the radical left poses a far greater danger to our country. Left-wing terrorists hate America. They say they want to eat the rich and turn our beautiful country into a communist state. They are demanding rights for all the wrong people, and they want to take our SUVs and stop us from eating meat and drinking milk. Babies will die if they get their way. This must stop now. That's why on day one I will sign a decree to round up all the radical leftists and send them to re-education camps around the country where they will learn to stop worrying and love America again. They will be re-indoctrinated by our best psychiatrists. It totally works, believe me. They did wonders on my son Eric. And after some hard work, they will be able to rejoin our society as reborn Americans and contribute to the greatness and superiority of our beloved country, the greatest country the world has ever seen. Stand your lawn. Our proud nation was built on the right of every citizen to carry an AR-15 assault rifle and shoot anyone who touches their stuff. Personally, I think every law-abiding citizen should carry a gun so that if the Brits ever come back, we'll be ready for them. I carry a gun too, and I'm a crack shot. I can shoot the wings off an ant. I've done it many times, believe me. But since I left office completely voluntarily, even though I totally won the election, the right of self-defense has come under siege everywhere. In some states, it's gotten so bad you can't even shoot people in the privacy of your own home anymore. It's a total disgrace. If anyone comes to Mar-a-Lago to take my secret documents, I should totally have the right to blast them to kingdom come. That is why, on day one, I will introduce a new law called Stand Your Lawn. This law will give citizens the right to shoot anyone who puts as much as a toe on their lawn without permission. Someone accidentally drives up your driveway. Go ahead and use that rocket launcher your wife got you for Christmas. A hooded teenager you've never seen before rings your doorbell. Don't take any risks and blast him off your porch through the door with your favorite shotgun. This is America, not some bleeding heart socialist European commune. I will restore your right to protect yourself like it's 1776 again. Reparations for victims of Marxist prosecutors. In liberal cities like New York, Chicago, and San Francisco, radical leftist, socialist, Marxist, Leninist, Stalinist, Trotskyist prosecutors have systematically refused to prosecute violent criminals from so-called marginalized communities. But that's going to stop. When I have unlimited access to the presidential M&Ms again, I will immediately order the Department of Justice to investigate these so-called progressive prosecutors. And if found guilty, and they will be, believe me, I will fire them and send them to a re-education camp. Victims of these unprosecuted violent criminals, for instance, people who got robbed or business owners whose stores were pillaged, will be entitled to massive reparations. These reparations will be paid for by the negligent prosecutors and the liberal cities that hired them. In conclusion, Joe Biden and his defund the police Democrats have turned America into a Mad Max movie. Gangsters, illegals, druggies, and other wackos have been given free rein to do whatever they want with impunity. But that stops when I'm back in office. We will have the greatest, most powerful police force on the planet, the Trump Police Department, and they are going to make the streets so safe you won't believe it. No more hobos, no more junkies, no more mentally deranged people, no more gangsters, illegals, and other dangerous criminals. American cities will be for Americans again. I will give us back our country once and for all. Please support my candidacy for president by buying the America I deserve at no good tax dodging, U.S. Postal Service leeching Amazon. Help make the America I deserve the most popular book on Amazon. Let's show the American people the real Donald Trump.